Ah, that is much clearer. What's up, guys? This is JerryNeutron, and I am back with a new camera and also a new monitor. This is the Acer H236HL BID. And this is a 23-inch 1920 by 1080p IPS panel with a response time of 5 milliseconds and a 100 million to 1 contrast ratio. Now it features a very thin bezel, which some would actually say this makes a great multi-monitor option. Personally, I'm not big on multi-monitor setups. I think I'd probably rather run with a 21 by 9 monitor instead, but whatever floats your boat. One thing you may want to be aware of though is that although this bezel is very thin, the screen does not actually extend to the edge of the monitor. So there is still a little bit of gap between this monitor and the next one if you were using multiple ones. Also, the monitor itself is glossy, so if you're using this in a well-lit room, you can definitely prepare for lots of glare. For me though, it's not much of an issue unless you're watching like a dark scene in a movie or video game or I don't know, something like that. The monitor installs on the stand pretty easily as well, just by screwing the base into the neck, I guess we'll call it, and then the screen drops on top of that. Now, the stand isn't that great though, and it can get pretty wobbly. I actually kept checking to make sure everything was in place because it was so wobbly, but I quickly learned that the stand just wasn't that great. One cool thing about the stand though is that the base has a magnetic area just above this paper clip that you can actually use to stick things on for safekeeping. So I guess there's a plus one there on the productivity side. And the monitor buttons all reside underneath the bottom right side of the screen. Only the power button is labeled though on the monitor itself, and the rest are labeled on screen. So that can make it a little bit tricky when you're trying to navigate the menu options. Looking at the side of the monitor, you can see that it's fairly thin, nothing too crazy, and then on the back of the monitor, you have several connectivity options. There's HDMI, DVI-D, VGA, and audio out for your headphones, which actually only work if you're using the HDMI port, and then you have the power for the power brick. Now you will notice there is no VESA mount on the back, so you do have to use the included stand, which does offer limited adjustability. There is no height adjustment, and there's only about between 5 to 15 degrees of tilt adjustment. Now as far as the display goes, I will say that I wasn't blown away. This is my first IPS panel, and from reading so much hype about them online, I was actually expecting to shed a single tear when I turned on the monitor for the first time, or at least like or something like that. I don't know, some heavy breathing. The colors definitely are better, but I guess I was just expecting a more dramatic difference versus TN panels. Now I will say though that when web browsing, the whites were very white. I actually had to turn down the brightness a lot because it was so intense and I started getting a headache. But to easily see the difference between whites and light grays, things like that, that's pretty cool. Now in gaming, I didn't seem to notice much difference in going from my previous non-IPS 2 millisecond panel to this. There was no obvious lag or ghosting that stood out. I tried overclocking the monitor also, and I only got 66 Hz at 1080p out of it before the display began distorting. Now I'd seen some reports of people overclocking this monitor to 75 Hz. I'm gonna have to assume that that wasn't at 1080p because I definitely was not able to mirror that. So anyway, in conclusion, I don't like the shaky stand, and while the colors aren't bad in any sense, I was expecting a little more. Also, some may not like the absence of the VESA mount, but overall, this monitor is a step up from what I had before. Now, provided there are no build quality issues with the monitor, I definitely do see myself being satisfied for quite some time. But that's about it, guys. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and until next time, see ya.